Welcome to Sports Talk with Steve Jones, the daily talk show with the voice of Penn State football and men's basketball. You never know what special guest may stop on by any given day. Now here's the man of the hour, Mr. Steve Jones.
So the draft is in Pittsburgh.
That it is.
There's going to be a pile of Penn State players taken.
That it will.
And the NFL rejected your credential request?
They did, sadly.
What a clown show.
But it means I don't have to drive into Pittsburgh during the draft, and it's going to be a nightmare.
I'm sorry, but that's just wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm serious. That's wrong.
Yeah.
All right, okay. I know you're the big behemoth. Everybody wants to cover you. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sorry. You don't move the draft around the country without the idea of not allowing regional. Okay. Mm-hmm. If Penn State had no potential picks, all right, I could see it.
Yeah.
Penn State could have as many as 7 to 10 guys selected.
Day one, they're getting one at least.
One in the first round, and there's probably going to be multiple in the second day. What are we doing here?
I don't know. We'll do NFL draft stuff next week fully. We'll run through it all.
I don't get it. I don't get it. You've got to be able to do this stuff. Like, for example, the U.S. Open was in Oakmont last year. Mm-hmm. I covered it.
Yeah.
Now I've covered other ones.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
It's the national championship. This is a draft. Mm-hmm. Okay. This is handing cards.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I agree.
I don't understand. Now, I didn't apply for it because I have no interest in going. None. But hey, you are the flagship station for the group that carries Penn State football. Okay? I don't understand why, with all the potential Penn State players that are going to be picked, and the draft is in Pittsburgh, you didn't ask to go to Green Bay to do it.
Mm-mm.
It's Pittsburgh. And they're like,
we submitted everything. We went through the process. For those at home, it's a long process.
Which names did you put down?
I believe it was myself and our secondary sports person throughout the company here with 7 Mountain Sports, Noah White, based out of Lebanon. The two of us were going to go cover the draft. Right. But you know what? It happens, Steve Jones.
No, I'm saying it's wrong. I mean, look, Major League Baseball did this with minor league baseball, where they knocked out 42 clubs.
Gone overnight.
They claim that it saved each organization $1 million. I look at it differently. I'm sitting in that room with them. And you know me, I'll have no fear. I'll look at them. I'll tell them straight out, you're wrong. And I'd look at them and say, excuse me, you just took 42 markets of publicity, of connection, and you've told them and you've rejected them. Hey, this is great news. We have X playing for us here in State College. We follow him all the way up, because Pius was catching for the Cardinals the other night, watching the Cardinals-Red Sox game, and he's out there doing a couple of challenges on ABS. And Pius played here. Mm-hmm. It's a connection. They did this. Okay, the NFL. I know you're the behemoth. I know you've got every single major broadcast outlet, the whole deal. Don't forget your roots. And the NFL forgets its roots in the interest of being the behemoth. And this is part of it. Okay? When you are remembering your roots, you are remembering what local coverage has meant to you. When you remember your roots, you remember that the feeder system of college going to the pros and what it means to you. They're losing all that. We're going to play on Black Friday. Well, we're going to play on we're going to play against the college football playoff because we play Saturdays in December. It's like, what are you doing? Okay? Because they don't care.
No.
And when you start to give people the impression you don't care, you do have a problem. Right? They don't think they have a problem.
But they do.
They also think they're too big to fail. And I go back to Ray Rice and a couple of the other problems they had, including Adrian Peterson and so forth. And then the issues with the national anthem. They started losing audience. Guess what? You're not too big to fail. There are people out there if they start getting turned off by what you're doing, you're not too big to fail. There's no such thing as too big to fail. And they're acting as if they're too big to fail. And you cannot lose your roots along the way. You have to. In fact, when you're down there, it's like having a garden. You got to take care of the roots of all the plants, right? That way it flourishes. And they forget, they're forgetting their roots as to what they're doing because they think they're too big to fail. Major League Baseball thinks we don't need 42 markets, right? It's $1 million a team. Excuse me, that's $1 million worth of publicity in 42 towns where they've got a connection to your product on the major league level. It's that kind of thought process of nickel and diming along the way that I just find to be really abhorrent.
Yeah. You know what is a cheaper location to go to, Steve? Augusta National. We talked about it last week, you and I here on the show, and I got to sit finally and watch the Masters. I haven't sat and watched a Masters in multiple years. And going into the final round, I was like, this is so very interesting because Rory came into Saturday with a 6-stroke lead.
But did you watch the Friday press conference?
I did not. What happened?
These people cover golf for a living?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Now, the really good ones are the really good ones. They're there all the time.
Yeah.
But he's being asked questions like it's a foregone conclusion he's going to win. Over here in the back, you foul up one hole and he gets hot. Guess what? Everything changes in 4 holes.
And
don't you watch golf? Okay, these are questions I'm sure being asked by people that don't cover it on a regular basis. I sat back and went, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Right? You have to have the ability when you're covering something to be in the present. To be in the present. Instead of assuming the future. Yes, did he end up winning? Yeah. Was he winning at one point yesterday? No.
And it was all of a Scotty Scheffler. I think he was about a foot away from birdieing, and then it would have been a playoff based on how that last hole went. But we'll get there. We'll start with Saturdays, which was the start of just I have not seen a Rory collapse because I have not watched golf in a while. I know it's been talked about and discussed that this is what happens with him, and this is why he was never able to win until last year. But watching it with my own eyes of he bogeys, and then he birdies 10, and then double bogey, birdie, bogey, just like a wild ride on the final on day 3. And at the same time, you have Hao Tung Lee and Scotty Scheffler and Justin Rose and Jason Day and Shane Lowry and Burns and Young, and just they are climbing, and they're slowly putting themselves in a position, especially Scheffler, where he was rattling them off.
Well,
and
Scheffler,
Young the same.
The difference is Scheffler, first of all, he did one thing. He didn't lose the golf course over the past 2.5 rounds because he had nothing worse than par.
He's the first golfer since 1947, I believe, to not bogey day 3 or 4, which is incredible.
Right, so that kept him in the race. Right? And then when he get hot, he'd run off a couple of birdies. And then back to the just missed and tapped in par, just missed and tapped in par, But it's a 4-day golf tournament.
It's not 1 day, it's 4.
He shot 74 in the opening round.
That did it. That was basically what did it for him. Was if he shoots a 72, he wins.
What do I say about any game? I always look at the entirety of it. I don't look at the end.
Yeah. He put himself.
The end is easy. It's low hanging fruit. I could go to some schmuck and go, hey, the end. Well, Rory hit into the trees. Okay. You can lose golf tournaments on the first 2 days. You don't win golf tournaments on the first 2 days. You put yourself in a position the first 2 days. Those who cover the sport on a regular basis know this. Those who are fly-by-nights come in and ask the dumb questions where like the players are like, what?
Yeah. Like Rory put himself in position to win. Cameron Young with his playthroughs day 2 and 3 put himself in a position to win. He wasn't able to do it, Young, but he put himself in the area to where he could. But on day 1, he put him, okay? He had to fight back from day 1. It's a 4-day tournament. And that's why you talk about, Rory wasn't quite the same on Saturday. You know how hard it is to play great golf on back-to-back days? Yeah. Okay, now I'm asking you to play great golf on back-to-back days. Yeah. Right? You're being asked to play, and that's one of the problems that LIV has. I had a long conversation with the head of the PGA Tour this weekend. He kept doing this. I go, what's wrong? He says, that Jerry Valera guy isn't right. I said, no. And we were talking about, I brought up the subject of LIV. And the only guy in the LIV Tour that was doing anything in the tournament was Tyrell Hatton. And he said, because I had mentioned to him, I said, you have great players. I said, but these might be the deepest fields you've had over the years in tournament golf. And and he had spent some time down at the Masters. He's going down to the RBC Heritage this week. And he said, absolutely. He said, that's one of the problems that LIV has right now. A, they play 54 holes. B, Bryson DeChambeau, he had a couple of great tournaments and went back-to-back, but against who? There's no, was Rahm's there? As time has gone, LIV is thinned out. And now you have all this money up front. Hey, part of what made the Palmers and the Nicklases and the players hungry all the time was that they had to play every week because they had to put food on the table. Okay, the purses weren't gigantic. Winning was a gigantic deal. Hey, I got $20,000. I won the Insurance City Open. Oh, okay. That's great. That means I qualify for the Masters, and I got $20,000. Okay? Right. That's the way it used to be. They had to play every week. And now you have, at least on the PGA Tour, it's an iron sharpening iron tour, as opposed to LIV. You're playing 72 grueling holes. Right? You've got to fight your way through all 4 rounds to get there. Right? It's admirable that a Justin Rose at the age of 45 grinds his way through a round. Scotty Scheffler grinds his way through a round. Rose was 8 holes from it. He had the lead after 10, and then you could see he was exhausted, and it just wore off.
Well, exhausted, and look, you're trying to hit great shots all the time.
And you have to do great shots all the time on a course that is notoriously not the easiest thing to do, which, spoiler, is the whole point of it. Right. You have to be the best of the best at this spot. It's going to be difficult.
What's interesting about Augusta National is this. The fairways are wider than any major championship. Back to life. Yeah. The first cut is not penal. Yeah. It's just not. The pine straw is... The trees are, and sometimes you're in the fairway, and the ball's above your feet, the ball's below your feet. It's very much like this as a golf course, very up, and I'm talking dramatic hills.
And there's water, and there's slopes everywhere,
and you've got to walk it for days. And you don't think that makes you tired walking it for days up and down, up and down? And then you get to the green. The speed of the greens is, and pros love fast greens. So they love the Augusta National greens for a reason. They love fast greens. And the undulation of the greens.
I was going to say, I forget if it was like 15 or 16 where Rory hits it, and it just goes directly to the right because he knows I'm going to hit it in front of me, and it's going to go that way by about 30 feet. And he knows what he's got to do, but it's the fact of like, that is not an easy green to play. Like,
okay, the sport is difficult.
Yeah, it's really difficult. They're hitting incredible shots every time, and they're mad when they're a foot away from what they wanted. The average person doesn't realize just how difficult that is to get it there.
Well, when I was talking to Brian on Saturday, I said, I'll tell you something I've said on my show, and I've said on my when I was teaching classes here. I said, never, ever say that a player stinks. I said, and don't say that a player chokes. I said, because there are 8 billion people in the world. 156 of them have their tour card. Okay? You're just not as good as that guy.
Yeah.
And there's also something else, too, that comes into play in tournament golf that is of great benefit to the pro that you don't have the benefit of when you're playing your municipal course. You hit a wayward shot, and it'll hit and keep going and going and going and going. Right? Like, okay, great. Now let's see where we ended up here. In tournament golf, how many times do you see where suddenly they hit one and the gallery stopped it?
Yeah.
Like there's no gallery stopping you, right? On the third hole at Center Hills, okay? Hey, you hit it wayward. That's it's like, all right, let's go find the sucker.
Yeah.
All right. In tournament golf, how often do you see? Oh, he hit over here, and here are the trees. Here's the gallery. Here's the golf course. Gallery stops ball before trees. Okay. I mean, as much as they try to back off.
It happens
right,
sometimes.
it does happen, especially at Augusta National, because they are aligned up and down each side of it. It's not sporadic where, it could get loose, and the people are actually all around the green waiting. Not at Augusta National. They're all up and down. It's the crowds are, they're huge.
Yeah.
And in tournament golf, that actually helps them. Right, from time to time. But the point is they hit wayward shots. Why? It's a golf ball. It's a golf club. You hit wayward shots.
Look what Rory did on 18, where he hit the ball all the way into the pine straw, almost to the other 13th fairway. Yeah, exactly. And then he had to hit it over a tree back in to get it to somewhat in play to give him a chance at staying in it.
And I give CVS credit. Eventually, after about an hour and a half, they found the ball.
Yeah. But I want to.
What we doing here?
Also, I wanted to. Yeah,
I got trackers all over the place. Nobody knows where the ball is.
Also, shout out. I know he didn't have a great day 4. Shout out Shane Lowry, hole in 1 on 6. It was incredible to watch and witness.
Lowry's a great player. He won the Open Championship. He's won a major,
and he was hot day 3. Got himself in just about to 4th place, and then it was just. Again, final day. It's a war of attrition.
But again, in order to be there, you have to play great sometimes and overcome other moments of mediocrity. It's 4 days.
Also, it's
not going out and playing a round. Hey, you gotta follow up a round with your next round. And the tee boxes are in a different spot. And the pins are in a different spot. And the wind is more, right? And it's drier, or they watered it overnight. And I played in the early round when it was moist. I played in the late round when it was fast.
Yeah, and I would like to at some point ask someone like a Rory or whomever it may be who's been in that final group going into a final day.
You would love to talk. I've talked to Rory McIlroy before. You would love to talk to him.
I would love to, and I'd love to ask him, like, what is it like?
And Justin Rose, you would love to talk to.
Like, both of them. And, like, what is it like on that final day when you are that final group with him and Cam Young and everyone's walking it in with you. Like, your crowd is building and building and building, because if they're on the 16th and then you get there, you're the final person, and they're going to go from 16 to 17 with you, and 17 to 18. And it just builds and builds and builds, versus if you're in the case of a Scheffler where you're group 4 or 5 and you've got a little bit of a lighter crowd. Like, what is that like?
Well, a lot of at Augusta National, you do move some, but the patrons are it's hard for you to get your spot. And then when you get your spot, you really don't feel like relinquishing it.
But then my point is that final grouping on that final day where everyone's, at least the crowd is getting bigger.
But they're used to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Rory has won majors before, including the Masters. Cam Young won the Players. Right. So these guys, they've been there, they've done it, they understand, they've experienced it. It may be the Masters, but they've experienced it. I mean,
we'd just love to ask him in general.
Cam Young won the Players. Right. Not exactly a minor league tournament.
Yeah. Also, I want to shout out Hao Tung Lee for the best social media of the day, of him joking and talking about being in bushes and trees, because he got on 13. He hit, I believe it was a 10, and he talked about it on social because he hit it real deep into a bush, and it was over. But he had fun with it afterwards, and I appreciated that. Steve Jones, we do have some Penn State news to cover and talk about.
Sure.
Jay Rogers, the point guard from Central Connecticut, it was announced by Penn State. He has committed to join from the Blue Devils, coming on down from Connecticut to Penn State.
I've seen him play.
6'3" point guard, averaged 11, 7 and 2 for the Blue Devils this past season, has 1 year of eligibility remaining. You saw him play. What do you think of him?
No, he is a good distributing guard. Is he a great shooter? No, but he's a good shooter. Good shooter. Can hit the three. I think he's like a 36%.
36% this past year. 82 from the foul line.
Late in the game, he's not going to hurt you at the line when you need him to. Handles the ball well. The key will be keeping turnovers down. So when I saw him play at Central, I was impressed by him. What always interests me about what always interests me about these things is that it will be the reaction of people. They got a guard from Central. And yet, for example, when Elijah Hawkins transfers from Howard to Minnesota, oh man, I'll tell you, that's the kind of guy we should have. He transferred from Howard, but that was okay.
Or was it Janai Broom was at Kent State? Was that it? And then he went to Auburn, and everyone's like, "Oh, why didn't we get him?" Or with Axel Lendenberg from UAB to Michigan.
What about him?
Oh, he's so great. He was at the same level.
It's like Elijah Hawkins goes, boy, a Hawkins guy can really play, man. He's really good. Oh, that's the kind of guy we should get. I'm sitting there like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, then Yax Lendenberg guy, we need him.
Then you got a guy that go from Central Connecticut and the NEC. He went from the MEAC to the Big Ten. So from the NEC over to, I mean, it's all that's available out there. It's like, I sit there like thinking to myself, okay, here's one. It would really help if you actually knew some of the guys. It would help. And this guy's a good player, and they needed to go out and get a point guard, right, to build around it. Okay, now you've got that. So now you move on to the other parts you need. You have the center. You've got, I mentioned the center of the point guard combination. Now you build around that. You need shooters. You need big wings. You're going to need somebody behind because he's going to need somebody behind him. It's just as simple as that. He's not going to go out and play 40 minutes a game.
As of this moment, you have at guard Reggie Groden, and you've got
Reggie can shoot, by the way.
Yeah.
Reggie can shoot. I can tell you that right
Reggie and Jay Rogers are your two guards at the moment. And in terms of forwards on this team, you have Juric at center. You've got Mirotic, Ciani, Chris Latito are the other players on the roster. Because everybody, Dom Stewart, Melly Tuncha, Eli Rice, Josh Reed, Caden Mingo, Freddie De Leon, Mason Blackwood are still in the portal. So that is the current construction of the roster.
If Ciani were to stay, you always have to say this with every roster now.
Yeah.
Right? Across the country. If he were to stay, right? No, Ciani, he didn't do this. look, you need somebody to fill the breach for 5 to 10 minutes in a game. I'd rather go with an experienced guy that's at least been around the block a little bit. Now, does Sasha need to improve his game? Of course he does. Right? Brent Scott, I think, will get the most out of him because he gets the most out of almost every big man he has.
Well, I'm excited to see Jurich next year because I really want to see what it looks like next year with him in year 2 with Brent Scott.
And the workouts have been really good so far. I think they scrimmaged,
It was sometime last week.
It was a 4-on-4 scrimmage they did last week on Thursday, as a matter of fact. But that's, hey, you still have to get another shooter. No question about that. And you got to get some bigger wings, right? That's where you are. Almost everybody is going through this. It's become the nature of the game. So I saw Nick Saban talking about this, and I completely agree with where he's coming from because college has gone from being college sports at the basketball and football level in particular, and not so much other sports, but basketball and football in particular have gone from being transformational to being transactional. And Saban was talking about back in the day, college was the bastion of stability, and the NFL was not. A lot of transactions in the NFL, cuts.
But in college, it was usually the players come and they're there and they build up and up and up, and you can kind of build the programs. That's how Duke and Kentucky and North Carolina got the way they were because they built themselves up.
You have to either have a major academic problem or a major incident off the court or field to no longer be on the roster. They also gave you time to develop.
Part of the reason that those Kentucky 2010s to 2020s teams were good was not just because they had a couple of one-and-dones, but because they also had players who were with the program year after year and got better and better. I saw Emil Jefferson talk about it when he was at Duke, that he came in, and I believe at guard for them at the time, I forgot who it was at Duke who was with him. They were there forever. And so they built the program up, and then they just stayed, and he was there for 4 years, and he was a captain for 3 of them, and Krzyzewski was like, I need you to help teach these guys what it's like to be here, and you need guys like that who are there, who can play and give you minutes, but also mentor.
Or John Calipari, for example, brought in Reed Travis from Stanford, older player. He brought in the kid from Bucknell who played very well for him, right? Older player, right? To go with the younger players that were in the system. But college basketball and college football, college basketball the last 10 years, college football the last 3 or 4 years have gone from being transformational to being transactional. As Saban said, it used to be that you had athletes that always wanted to play in the SEC. And in this case, athletes that always wanted to play in the Big Ten, and athletes that always wanted to play at Penn State, athletes that their entire lives wanted to play at Alabama, athletes their entire lives wanted to play Texas and Tennessee. He said, you'll talk to the guy from the same hometown as somebody who always wanted to play at Alabama, let's just say Bessemer, all right? Just outside of Birmingham. You're playing at Bessemer. Always wanted to play in Tuscaloosa, the whole thing. He said, they come in, and the first thing they want to know is, how much money am I going to get?
Yeah.
Right.
It went from kids watching Reggie Bush and saying, I want to go to USC and be the next Reggie Bush.
Yeah.
Or watching what would happen with Joe Burrow for even a season where he was there, he transferred, and then was there for a year. They're like, I wanted to be Joe Burrow or Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase. Now it's not that, where it is that 1 year almost rental. There, of course, are some players who are going to stay.
It doesn't mean that athlete out there doesn't exist that always wanted to go to Penn State. I grew up in New Jersey. I wanted to go to Penn State. I grew up in Pennsylvania. I want to go to Penn State.
And there are players who get there eventually who may not be able to get to Penn State in their first season. And then you, of course, see it all the time where they then transfer saying, I wanted to come here. This was my place. This is where I wanted to be. And they're here for 2 years. But as you're alluding to, there's less of them.
This is why when I've talked about the basketball part of it, it's not the budget. Right? I think this is what the element that people don't quite have a handle on, the budget. Well, they're going to $6 million, and you're just going to lose $6 million because Penn State's not going to win. Blah, blah, blah. No, that's not where the money's coming from. Okay? Everybody is spending about the $3 million, $3.5 million on their basketball programs on the internal rev share. Right? I think Michigan State's doing $5 million. Right? On the internal rev share. That's the budget line. Okay? That's the budget line. So to take that line out of it, it's the external money that you are getting that becomes the difference maker between a $4 million roster and a $12 million roster.
The reports out there are Flory Badunga and Jackson Shellstead, who are going to Louisville, are getting about $9 million combined, which, of course, as you just said, is more than what a $4 million program can afford. So how do they get there? It's through the outside external money, the NIL, that you're able to get to players.
Now, can you get this money, for example, this is where, what can you get from Playfly, for example? Now, we're seeing right now Nebraska's having a little trouble with 18 athletes with the Playfly proposals. But that's I think, the wording of contracts. I don't think it's anything more serious than that, right? But this is why, like, for example, Pat made his deal with Playfly. It more than doubled the money, but it also gives NIL opportunities, some of which I know are going to play out during the course of the year that we'll benefit from as a broadcast team. The next part is then, what's the wording on this Adidas deal that starts July 1? Right? And what can that do? Right? To go with your donors. Your donor base is the difference between having the internal rev share of $3 million and having $9 million. That $6 million is not coming from the internal number. Okay? That $6 million is not. Right? Now, are there ways to get it out, through the internal contracts you've made? Yes, but you still need outside donor base in conjunction with what I just talked about, Playfly, Adidas, whatever, that can get you to the $9 million, which is the average in the Big Ten. The average in the Big Ten is about 8 to 9. We know after this year it's going to go up probably between 9 and...
It's going to sit around 8 figures.
It's going to sit around 9 to 10. Right? Somewhere around there, because it's going to go up. The goal is to get to the average number. Right? Get into the neighborhood of the average number. And this is where to give yourself a chance... Right? You'd love to have like one donor come and go, hey, I got the check right here. That's right. You'd love that, but that's not, that's not realistic. But can you get a group of them to convince them, hey, I know you're doing a lot for us here. I know you're doing a lot for us there. Is it possible to do something to help out here as well? Because if we can get a better product on the floor, which will then draw more fans in, and then, right, because look, going to the Big Ten tournament, you're going to get money. Going to the NCAA tournament, everybody gets money. It doesn't, like, you want to get there because you want to win.
Yeah.
Right? The money part of it, you're just helping the conference on the money side of it. All right? You're just helping the conference on the money side. Everybody's going to get a distribution. All right? And now let's get to the next part. The next part is this. Don't be foolish in making a statement about Penn State getting less TV money under the new rev share program when it comes because of basketball. No, okay. This like at that point when I hear somebody say that, you flat out don't get it. Okay? There's not different levels that go to different sports. When they are talking about the new rev share model that could be in effect by the end of the decade, when they do the next TV contract, they are talking about the possibility of Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State getting 5.5%. The possibility of USC and Oregon getting 5%. And the possibility of everybody else getting 4.9%. It's not going to be, well, I mean, Michigan, they're the national champion. They're going to get 10% of the basketball rev share, and Penn State's going to get 1%. Okay? Excuse me. Okay? Okay? Not how it works.
No.
Not how it works.
But Steve, that person I saw online who says they're an expert said this, and their expertise is that they play a lot of Madden. But you appreciate that.
I do appreciate that, as a matter of fact. No, but again, I'll have people, because I don't follow I could care less what's online. I could care less what's on social media. But I'll have people talk to me like, I heard. I said, I actually had somebody on Friday said to me, I was out on the golf course. They were talking to me about, boy, there you go, that rev share model. What's Penn State going to get for basketball? Like 0.5%? I said, what are you talking about? I said, it's an all-encompassing number. I said, they'll get 5.5% of the contract. They'll be one of the big three. Yeah, but our basketball has nothing to do with that. Okay? Has nothing to do with that.
And if you're online and you need to figure out what's going on, what's happening, and everything detail-wise, you can find 7 Mountain Sports on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, where you can find clips of Sports Talk with Steve Jones coming at you all the time.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
doing a little plug.
I'll bet that's just delightful to watch.
People enjoyed your comments about Malachi Goodman and other Penn State players last week, and we'll talk about them more as we lead up next week to the Blue-White weekend.
And by the way, a week from tomorrow, Tuesday night, and it'll be airing on 7 Mountains. Matt Campbell will be doing the coach's show.
That he will be.
He will be on the final half hour of it on
Very nice.
Tuesday the 21st.
He'll be live with you, hanging on out. Steve Jones, your favorite topic, the NBA. The National Basketball Association.
I like the NBA. I just think the regular season is just such... The NBA playoffs are really terrific. They really are. Great players, the best in the world. Really, really good coaching. The whole deal. The regular season is a schmuck show. It just is.
It is.
Because I got a twinge and I need a day off. And I got how do you coach these people?
And I will tell you, Steve Jones, the final day, which was yesterday during the Masters, was an interesting one. So I'll run through the games real fast that happened, that matter to some extent. The Celtics B squad with Baylor Shireman and co leading it beat the Magic 113-108. Put the Magic into a certain place. The Heat beat the Hawks. The Hornets beat the Knicks. You've got teams including the Mavericks won against the Bulls 149-128, and Ryan Nembhard had 23 assists. Just a wild number. A lot of games happened. Now the playoffs are set. So the teams that are playing, I'll just run through this real fast.
2/3 of the league makes the playoffs.
So the current standings and who will play who on the East. The Detroit Pistons are the 1 seed. The Celtics are the 2. You've got the Knicks at the 3, Cavs the 4, Raptors at 5, Hawks at 6, 76ers at 7, Magic at 8, Hornets at 9, Miami Heat at 10. In the West, it is the Thunder, Spurs, Nuggets, Lakers, Rockets, T-Wolves, Suns, Blazers, Clippers, Warriors, which means coming up in your NBA play-in games, the play-in tournament, the 9-10 in the East is the Heat at the Hornets in Charlotte on Tuesday. Charlotte's been one of the best teams second half of the season. They look good. Con Knippel's given them a lot of help because he's had one of the best three-point shooting seasons by a player and the best by a rookie by a long shot, which as you can imagine, Steve, as I probably think you'd say, is a good thing when you've got someone shooting.
Sure it is.
Where was it? He's averaging 19 points a game, and he's shooting. What's the percentage? He's shooting regular season-wise 43% from three. That's not bad.
Not bad.
Yeah, pretty good. So there's a reason he may be Cooper Flagg for Rookie of the Year, his college roommate. The Blazers and Suns play in the 7-8 game. And then you've got coming up on Wednesday, Magic Sixers, Warriors Clippers, and then the loser of the 7-8 and the winner of the 9-10 play for the last final spot. So the playoffs look like this. Thunder versus the 8 seed, Lakers versus the Rockets, Nuggets versus the Timberwolves, Spurs versus the Suns or Trailblazers in the West. In the East, it's Pistons versus the 8, Cavs versus Raptors, Knicks versus Hawks, Celtics versus the Sixers or Magic. The big piece to note, the Lakers are going to be without Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves, most likely for the whole first round. So they're probably going to lose because they weren't great without them in general. And then you lose them for a whole playoffs. And I don't like that. And the Nuggets tried to play a little bit of matching game is what I'd call it. They tried to kind of lose to some games and win some games. The Spurs kind of let them win that final game, and that locked them into the 3rd seed to mean they had to play the Timberwolves in the first round, which is a little more annoying because it means you have to play them, who they keep losing to, and then the Spurs with Wembanyama, which isn't fun, and then the Thunder, yada yada. So that's the playoff picture, Steve.
Starts on Prime.
That it does. It is on Prime.
All the play-ins are on Prime. Then after that, I think, isn't Prime out of it after that?
I believe, yes. Prime is in it for the play-in tournament.
Then it's all NBC and ESPN ABC.
Yes. No. First round. Prime Video has on the Saturday games, they have the first 3. ABC has Rockets, Lakers, 8:30, but the Hawks, Knicks, T-Wolves, Nuggets, Raptors, Cavs are on Prime. And then it's ABC and then NBC Peacock. And then from there, it is that grouping, I believe.
I know it's easy for me. I have Prime, so it's not.
Yeah.
It's the only streaming service I have.
You know who could be on Prime Video coming back in the future? A former video analyst, formerly watching and covering games, Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers got let go. Okay. Yeah, he got let go by the Bucks after 3 seasons. Apparently, they're discussing a quote-unquote advisory role with the organization for him. This comes after a 97 and 103 3 seasons in Milwaukee, including all of the Giannis Antetokounmpo absurdities that have happened over the past few years of is he going to stay? Is he going to get traded? I'll put it out there that it's gone on for way longer than it should have. If he wanted to go, they should have traded him. And if they wanted to keep him, he should have signed a deal by now. But neither side knows what's happening. And now they're fighting each other through the court because Giannis says he was healthy enough to play. The Bucks say he declined doing training and 3-on-3 practice to get back up to it. It's a nightmare. So Doc is out in Milwaukee. Maybe Giannis is out too. Hasn't, quote unquote, ruled out a return to Milwaukee. I haven't ruled out a return to, I don't know, eating more food. I don't know. Didn't have a good one for that. But yeah. What a time, Steve.
Feel like me ruling out staff meetings. All right, so I think I'll go to a staff meeting. I don't think so.
Next
time I go to a staff meeting and there's actually something productive, it'll be the first time I've gone to one.
Yeah.
This includes all of them.
Yes.
Usually the Channel 3 ones, I sit there like this. What are we doing? I'll be looking at the clock going, I got to be out of here by 10.
The other bad news in Milwaukee, Christian Yelich was pulled for a pinch hitter in the 5th inning after tightness in his left hamstring that, quote, manager Pat Murphy says, quote, we're most likely going to get some bad news on Yelich, which for me, if it's a hamstring area, of course, means some sort of tear on the hamstring, which is never a good thing. As someone who's torn his hamstring, it sucks. And I was 10. I wasn't a professional athlete like Christian Yelich. So, hoping for a speedy recovery for him. So that is also happening. You've got Kevin Garnett, who was welcomed back finally by Timberwolves fans because he was banned for years by Glenn Taylor and co. Or not banned by them. He didn't want to go back because Glenn Taylor and co. didn't like him for reasons I don't know.
Look, see, that's part of the problem I have with the league.
Mm-hmm.
There's a pettiness in that league that is just like beyond me. It's like, what are we doing? There's no need to be petty about stuff. Okay? Guess what? When you needed an identity as a franchise, he gave you one.
Yeah.
Okay? He's part of the reason you're making money. That's why I've understood the pettiness of it. That's why I always had a major problem with J.J. Redick as a commentator, because he would diss players like, they couldn't play today and the whole thing. JJ, you know what? Guess what? If they didn't play back then and did what they could to keep it alive, you wouldn't have been playing today. How about that one? You would not have been playing today because there wouldn't have been a league.
Every era of basketball and every era of every sport is different.
Had to
every
survive,
certain players,
but you had to survive as a league. I remember when teams moved around all the time because they couldn't survive in the city they were in.
I saw someone, I forget who it was, who talked about it last week, who was like, if Larry Bird played today, it may have been Anthony Edwards, who was like, if Larry Bird played today, he'd average like 40 and 20. Like, he's basically what Nikola Jokic is doing, but a forward who's better at it. Like, that's
with better movement.
Yeah,
believe it or not.
but imagine Larry Bird in his prime playing now. He would put up some extraordinary numbers.
You know what's interesting is that I've seen Dan Patrick on some of the interviews, and he's asked a couple of players. I think the last one I saw was John Sally, and they said, and he says to Bird or LeBron. Almost every single guy has said the same thing. Bird.
Bird's a better player. LeBron's athleticism is the equalizer for everything.
He is another world.
Yeah.
I mean, to be
6'9", 285,
built like that, move like that, and you can tell LeBron has worked very hard in his game because he was not a very good outside shooter when he first came up. Now he is a really.
He's gone from being a good driver and scorer to being a good 3-point shooter, and then I've always been a really good passer. But now he's made himself into more of a passer facilitator. Right. Like, he has changed his game to fit what he needs to.
But it's interesting when Patrick asked these guys, almost all of them say Bird.
Yeah, because Bird
which I think freaks out a lot of people.
Well, Bird was an incredible 3-point shooter. He notoriously, for the 3-point shooting contest, didn't take off his warm-ups, shot and won.
And didn't practice threes.
No. He was just really good at them.
Practice threes.
Imagine today you said, hey, go out there and practice 3-pointers.
Right.
Who knows who knows what level he could have gotten to. Or players who say, Shaq is great, but he wouldn't fit this game where it's outside in. I think Shaq would have dominated today because Shaq is putting everybody into the basket. So you're going to feed him 40 points, and you're consistently going to get it.
I mean, when Bird played, I've seen Larry interviewed, and he said that Casey Jones, you got to remember, this is the 80s. So the 3-point shot finally came into the NBA in 76-77 when they merged with and brought the 4 ABA teams in. And he said, we'd shoot like maybe 9 threes in a game. Like, those are the attempts, not make 9.
Total attempts they're taking.
Right? He says, but it was when we would do it. He said, and he always felt like the 3-point shot was the dagger shot at the end of a game, right? Like, he said, you do that, and you got a lead, like, bang, and all of a sudden 2 becomes 5, and, like, the other team's like, what are we going to do now? So they weren't heavily reliant on it, even though, like, for example, Game 4, the Lakers-Celtics in 84. Game 4 out there, it's in overtime. Dennis Johnson had a big 3-point shot in the wing. But in other words, they weren't always looking at their feet back then. They were just running the offense and taking shots within the offense. I realize what analytics says about layups, free throws, and threes. I totally get it. And I've talked about the 3-point shot on the college level. I firmly believe that last year Penn State didn't have something I was disappointed at. I thought in the summertime last year, and I don't know how many practices I went to in the summer, 25? 25? I thought, that's maybe a decent, not a great, but a decent 3-point shooting team. and they were an okay 3-point shooting team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I felt that there would be a couple of games they could steal just on volume threes, and they never really got to that point. That's the other one that cracks me up. Somebody said to me, "We're going to be better." This is like, yeah, I'll go in after playing a round of golf. There'll be guys sitting around the bar, and I'm usually like grabbing it like a hot dog on a water and then getting out of there. And he'll say, you know, I got this one. He says, we got to be way better in close games. I said, well, that wasn't the issue. They go, what are you talking about? We're lousy in close games. I said, they were in 4 and 3 in games decided by 5 points or less. Mm-hmm. We were? I'm going, oh my God. Where do people come up with this stuff? Now, a year ago,
yeah,
absolutely valid.
Because that was the issue. Penn State just
a year ago
got to late in the game,
right?
Got close, and just couldn't.
It was frustrating time in and time out. This year, they may not have been in a ton of close games, but they were over 500 in games decided by 5 or less. They were 4 and 3. They beat Iowa, they beat Minnesota, they beat Washington, and they beat Harvard. Right? And they only lost, and then they only lost 3 games by 5 or less, including that Michigan game here. I think Michigan State was one of them too. But where do people come up with this stuff? If you're talking about a year ago, man, I'm believe me, I lived all of it. But we're lousy in games decided, but in close games, going, no, they were actually decent this year. And not only that, one of the reasons they were decent, they're 86% at the foul line in the last 4 minutes of those close games. 86%.
Not bad.
Right?
It's good.
Why do I know that? I keep track of it myself. It's not on the game notes.
No, you have your board. You have your notes. I see it every game.
No, I put a lot of stuff on there that I think is important. Some of it, Chelsea does a great job. Yeah. Okay. There are also analytics sites you go to, but there's also stats I keep, for example, that I think are important. So when I'm sitting there and I'm talking in a football sense, a stat I have on my board that is not in the game notes, right? Nor should it be. It doesn't have to be. Yeah. It's just something I think is important, so I keep it myself. Stop rate. How many possessions does the opposition have? How many times are they stopped? Each half, and then total overall. And that was one of the issues that last year Penn State had. The stop rate defensively was not very good. Right? It was in the 60s. Right? And I think the overall rate ended up being about 70. You want to be between 75 and 80% on your stop rate. Right? That's why when I talk about when I get a new coordinator, I need that new coordinator to get me one more stop each half. When I get a new offensive coordinator, I need you to get me one more score each half. Right? Can you do that? So when I get a new coordinator, that's what you look to do. The young man that they got from Central can shoot 3 throws, and he's going to be the guy that has the ball in his hand at the end of the game. So when they get themselves into a position in a close game, right, you don't mind based on what he's done before, because the last time I checked, the free throw line is the same in the Big Ten as it is in the NEC.
Thank you for listening to Sports Talk with Steve Jones, a 7 Mountain Media production. Come back at 11 every weekday for analysis of the latest happening in the sports landscape, from college football to